Welcome to another edition of Go Long Live. I am your host, Barry Long the second. Not the first, not the third. I am the second. We are live on today's California.com, live on CoachellaValley.com, live on today's Canada.com. We are live all over the Twitterverse, Metaverse, Universe. You name it, we are live. All right, so real quick, we want to thank Craig Campbell for the platform. We appreciate the opportunity to be on CoachellaValley.com as well as today's California.com. We appreciate everybody for tuning in, everybody for sending messages, everybody for following the pages, for sending comments. Remember, you can comment live on the show. Just like Crystal Hunley says, hi, homie. Hi, homie to you too. Well, please comment, and we appreciate all the comments. Now, we talk about all the interactive sports stories around the sports world regarding events, regarding the stories. We talked a lot about Antonio Brown yesterday, and Antonio Brown continues to go out and make make a mockery of the situation. We saw him last night. So we do know that he left the MetLife Stadium on his own. He did not fly home with the team. He actually Ubered out of the stadium, and he resurfaced at the Brooklyn Nets game. He was courtside. He has money. He's got a lot of money. So, those seats are not cheap at Barclays Center, but my man was out courtside. And no, that is not Kanye West. I thought that was Kanye West, but I believe Kanye West would have probably had a fresher edge up than that. But, Antonio Brown continues to be out there making a mockery of the situation. So we will discuss that here shortly. We will also talk about some of the games that went on. Last night was a classic Monday Night Football game. There was a lot of good, footage that they talked about with John Madden, because rest in peace, John Madden. There's a lot of good tributes to him, as well as Big Ben Roethlisberger. He has been the Steelers quarterback for the last 18 seasons, and it's been a really good run. And I know that he's dinking and dunking at this point of his career. Most quarterbacks do that at the end of their career. We saw Drew Brees lose some of that pop, couldn't get it downfield like he used to when he was in his younger days. We saw it happen to Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was able to go off on top with a Super Bowl victory. But Big Ben's probably not going to happen. It's not going to happen like that in his career. But he definitely is a staple in this league, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, especially the greatest quarterback, in my opinion, for the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise. Even though they had Terry Bradshaw, he won rings. Ben Roethlisberger's been there doing it for a long time, and he is just an incredible player. And as a Ravens fan, a guy who hates Big Ben, who always talks smack about Big Ben, to watch him last night choke up and talk about what Heinz Field meant to him and what those fans meant to him, and just, being on the field and just one last time and seeing him and watching him soak it all up and soak it all in, take it all in. It was really, really emotional. And I mean, I got a little misty eyed. I'm not going to lie. So we will definitely talk about that game here shortly as well. Real quick, I just want to say shout out to everybody who is tuning in on CoachellaValley.com and today's California.com. Shout out to we got some comments today. We got Roberta Canetti. She says hi from Italy. How do you say hi in Italian? I took Spanish 3, so that's all I know. And then Sergio is here, and he's in Sao Paulo. So shout out to Sergio Alves. You guys can comment. This is a sports show. We can talk about anything. But I hope you guys like my Jurassic Park t-shirt. Now, I'm a dad, so for Christmas, we get nothing. Everybody, all dads can relate. But I did get some socks. So I got some matching socks to go with us. I stay fresh down to the socks, man. I'm a sock guy. So I never like to wear the same socks twice. I don't like to wear plain socks. I just like to have, different types of socks. So I am happy every time I get socks for Christmas. All right, we are live on CoachellaValley.com, today's California.com, today's Canada.com. So last night we had a game between the Steelers and the Browns, and it was an emotional game, like I said here just shortly ago. We saw Big Ben Roethlisberger announced before the game that it was probably going to be his last home game at Heinz Field, which made a lot of people, sad. And there was a lot of reflection going on with his career. And he's got 2 rings. He got 2 rings early in his career. Before, I believe, 2 rings in the first 5 years. His second year and his 5th year. And he got one with Bill Cowher, one with Mike Tomlin. And, he's always had a really good defense behind him. But Big Ben has always been one of the toughest quarterbacks in the NFL. always sacked a lot. Never had the greatest offensive line. He's had good O lines in the past, but he's never had a great offensive line like Tom Brady's had throughout the majority of his career. Took a lot of punishment. Was hard to take down. Early on in his career, he could extend the drives with his legs, and he's had to morph into a guy who's basically just a statue back there. And it's fitting that they probably will build a statue outside of Heinz Field. And as much as I hate Heinz Field, and I hate those damn terrible towels and those damn yellow pants, last night was an emotional night. And I was actually rooting for the Steelers to take that victory over. And then on the other side, you saw how terrible Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Doo-Doo Browns looked. I mean, it was a dumpster fire from the beginning for the Cleveland Browns. But ultimately, what happened was Baker Mayfield, he threw 16 for 38, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And a lot of people are critical of Baker Mayfield. And even last night during the broadcast, you could hear Steve Levy and Brian Greasy and Louis Riddick, every time they had an opportunity to take a dig at Baker Mayfield, they did. He threw a bullet strike right down the middle on third down, down the middle. And I believe Steve Levy said, Baker Mayfield with the rare strike. And it was just like every time they could take a dig at him, they did. And you got to understand that Baker Mayfield is injured right now. Okay, he's got an ankle injury / heel injury. He's got a torn labrum in his non-throwing shoulder, which does affect him because, I mean, not only is he taking hits and falling on that shoulder, but and lowering his shoulder when he's going, when he's running the ball and on a QB scramble, but that it affects the way your range of motion. So there's a lot of things that Baker Mayfield is not saying to us right now as far as injuries are concerned, and he's just being tough. Much like Big Ben. Big Ben, there were seasons where Big Ben would not come out the game and other quarterbacks wouldn't even think about going into the game. Okay? Baker Mayfield is tough. So I feel like the media is being very hard on him, very critical of him. And maybe he shouldn't be out there playing right now. Maybe he should be, already have had surgery. Maybe he should be recuperating right now and they should have their backup out there. But at the end of the day, Baker Mayfield is out there and he's played so terribly that, I mean, I'm watching those Progressive commercials, and you know how it's like Baker's protecting his house, and his house is the stadium, right? I'm like, man, I don't know how long Baker Mayfield's going to have these commercials because as soon as the season ends and if they decide to part ways with Baker Mayfield, they decide not to franchise tag him, not to pay him big money. If they offer him a little contract and he decides to turn it down, Baker Mayfield is leaving Cleveland. So for right now, I'm saying let's give Baker another chance. If I'm the Cleveland Browns, I want to see if he can play well when he's not injured. I would franchise tag him. I would give him another year before I paid him big money. But we don't. It remains to be seen what's going to happen because Baker Mayfield played horribly all season long, numbers wise. He's amongst the league leaders in the worst categories that are stats for QBs, and leads the league in interceptions. I mean, he's just not doing a great job right now. But maybe next year he'll bounce back and he'll have a good season. We'll see. But for now, he's injured, and it remains to be seen what they are going to do with him. But the Browns didn't even run the ball in the first half at all. They basically tried to just throw the ball as much as they could, knowing that their strength of their team is running the ball with Nick Chubb. Not sure exactly how healthy he was. Maybe that led to them not handing him the ball off as much. But they didn't stick to what their normal game plan is. And that's the reason why they found themselves behind early. Big Ben, however, came out throwing a lot. This is his last game at home. So it kind of had that Kobe Bryant last game at Staples Center feel where every single possession, they gave the ball to Kobe and told Kobe to shoot. That's what it felt like. Big Ben threw the ball 34 times in the first half. In what world is that going to win a game in the NFL, especially with a guy that can't really throw the ball all the way down the field? But he ended up throwing 46 times, 24 completions, 123 yards, terrible numbers, a touchdown and interception. But the story of the night for the Steelers was the running game and Najee Harris. It was his coming out party. And we knew Najee Harris was going to be a talented back when he came out of Alabama. We knew he was going to be a workhorse. He leads the league in snaps by a running back this season, not even close. Okay. And yesterday he had 28 carries for 188 yards, a touchdown. But he had a touchdown when it counted the most, and that was to really seal the game. And it offered Big Ben opportunity, offered that defense to go out and get Big Ben the ball again. They intercepted the ball, and then it offered Big Ben a special moment where he was able to go out there and kneel the ball down for one last time in front of the old faithful at Heinz Field, and it was a very special moment. It was a surreal moment. And then after the game, of course, Big Ben was asked by Lisa Salters, how he felt about this moment, and he had the great answers. And he came out, he greeted the fans for one last time, and then he walked around the stadium and did the whole Cal Ripken Jr. and walk around the stadium, and everybody gets a high five. And once you start that, you can't stop it at like one section. You got to go all the way around the stadium like the wave, just like the wave. But yeah, it was a surreal moment. It was an awesome moment, and shout out to Big Ben for having a great career. Shout out to the Steelers fans. It's time to look towards the future, though. We don't know who's going to be the next quarterback. Will it be Dwayne Haskins? It damn sure is not going to be Mason Rudolph. So it remains to be seen. But it was a special night for a special player. This is Go Long Live. I am Barry Long, the second, not the first, not the third. We are live on CoachellaValley.com, today's California.com, today's Canada.com. I'm so proud of my socks. I got to show y'all my socks again, match my shirt. It's the little things in life, right? All right, so we also had a not so exciting game on Sunday night. The Packers defeated the Vikings 37-10. There was no Kirk Cousins. So they had to throw out there their backup, Sean Mannion. And I was watching the game where I was at watching the game. I heard somebody say, Sean Manning? Like the Manning? No, not Manning. Mannion. Like Minion? Mannion. Like onion? Mannion. Sean Mannion. And he had a good career at Oregon State. Yeah, he's been a great career backup. He's a big boy, big dude. Got a strong arm. But not a lot of experience. And he came into this game with no touchdown passes in his career and 3 career interceptions in 3 starts. He did throw his first touchdown pass of his career, 22 of 36, 189 yards for 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. So now in his career, he has 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Not a Manning, a Mannion. They had no running game. Dalvin Cook carried the ball for 9 times for 13 yards. They really didn't get the ball to Justin Jefferson as much. I mean, it was a backup quarterback, no Kirk Cousins, no chemistry involved whatsoever, no Adam Thielen. So it is what it is. The Vikings knew that they were going to pretty much get stomped in this game, and that's exactly what happened. Aaron Rodgers had a decent game, 29 of 38 for 288 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the real story was that they got contribution from the running game, and the defense stepped up when they needed it to. And right now they're firing on all cylinders. And the chemistry between Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams is just amazing to watch. I mean, we heard about how Aaron Rodgers said that, Devontae Adams was his favorite player that he's ever played with, the best player he's ever played with in his entire career, which is saying a lot because there have been some great guys that come through as wide receivers and tight ends throughout the course of Aaron Rodgers' career. And on the defensive side, they had some pretty good players. So that's saying a lot. And we heard a lot about that connection between the two on Sunday night if you watch the broadcast. And, this is going to be a special year, I believe. And I picked the Packers to win the Super Bowl early on in the season. And based on the way that they've won some of these close games, I feel like my prediction is spot on. Just the way that the season has progressed and has happened. Aaron Rodgers is definitely going to be my MVP pick for this season. But he just kind of solidified that he's going to be the MVP, even if he doesn't have the greatest game next week. So we did see the Packers solidify their number 1 status. They are now the number 1 seed in all of football, and they look damn good. Matt LaFleur, I said it earlier this season that he is one of the best coaches in the NFL, and I know that he has Aaron Rodgers and A lot of people can say, "Oh, well, he has Aaron Rodgers. If I had Aaron Rodgers, I'd be great too." Well, Mike McCarthy had Aaron Rodgers, and they weren't winning. So now they're winning. They're winning with Matt LaFleur. So it is what it is. But yeah, the Packers look really good, and shout out to the Packers fans. It's going to be a fun offseason for you. Now, let's talk about the Cardinals and the Cowboys. That was another game that kind of was, presented this week as the game of the week, the must-watch game that we had to see for the second half games on Sunday afternoon, before the Sunday night game. So a lot of people were excited to see this game. These are two top NFC teams. This might be a playoff matchup in the future. Kyler Murray going home. We know Kyler Murray is from Texas. He is lauded as the greatest Texas high school football player of all time, won 4 championships as a starting quarterback there. And just an amazing state of football. A lot of people come out of Florida and Texas. Those are like probably the 2 top states and the 2 top hotbeds of recruiting for college. And Kyler Murray is lauded as the number 1 from Texas. And as a matter of fact, in that stadium, in AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play, he won. He was 8-0, and now he's 9-0. He's never lost in that stadium. And that goes from high school to college and now to the NFL. So just a wonderful, wonderful return home for him. So I expected him to go out and be firing on all cylinders, just be as comfortable as he is. We saw how the Cardinals have been so comfortable on the road this entire season, 8-0 on the road. They were winning games. They felt really confident, going into AT&T Stadium with their quarterback playing in that stadium before, the familiarity that he has with that city, and the record and reputation that they have of going on the road and winning games. So I expected the Cardinals to win this game. I expected the Cowboys to come out a little flat based off how they performed last week and how many points they put up. I thought that they would be riding their high horse all week, and that's exactly what happened. But the Kyler Murray came out 26-38, 263 yards. He protected the football. 2 touchdowns. He didn't have all of his horses in the stable. They don't have Hopkins, but he does have some weapons. He got Chase Edmonds. They did not have Connor, but they do have weapons in Ertz and A.J. Green. And I feel like A.J. Green, who used to be considered one of the top wide receivers in the league, is now in a really good position to where if Hopkins can come back before the playoffs and, he's getting a lot of reps, he's getting a lot of he's getting a lot of double teams now. He's getting the majority of the attention wide receiver spot right now, and deservedly so. He still got it. He might not be the AJ Green that came onto the scene from Cincinnati, coming out of Georgia, but he is definitely still a talented wideout in this league. And when Hopkins comes back, then man, that'll open up the world of opportunities for him going against the lesser talented DBs on the other side of the football. So, I feel like this game was, theirs the entire way. The Cowboys really didn't feel like, even though the game is 25-22, it really didn't feel that close. Dak Prescott, he protected the football throwing wise. I mean, he threw for 226 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. But Dak Prescott always seems to have these games where they're up or they're down and they need to make a play, and he either fumbles the ball or throws an interception, and he has that crazy look on his face. Y'all know the crazy look that he has on his face after he throws an interception. It's this one right here. And that would be the meme of the day, but we have a better meme of the day. But Dak is already practicing his postseason letdown face. But that look on his face, it says a lot. But at the end of the day, the Cowboys are still one of the most talented teams in the NFC, and I like them to really, really make some noise. And I still like them, moving forward. But this is going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough matchup, and we knew that they were going to have to bring their A game if they were going to win. They did not have a running game whatsoever. They only had 45 total rushing yards, 45. So that, to me, is going to be a problem moving forward. We really haven't seen Ezekiel Elliott return to Zeke form that he had early on in his career. It's just not been the same. So if they can get him going, then I look for the Cowboys to be a fierce force moving forward. But at this point, 45 total rushing yards as a team is not going to get it done. You got Tony Pollard, you've got Ezekiel Elliott. Hell, Dak Prescott can run for 45 yards in the game by himself. when called upon. But it just seems like their running game is going to be a problem. That defense has kept them in games, kept them around, gotten turnovers, gotten them short fields. So I do like what the defense brings to the table. When they say offense wins games, defense wins championships. Dallas defense definitely is going to get them, in a lot of close games, or is going to bring them back and keep the games close if they start getting out of hand. If the offense can't get stuff going. So I do like that moving forward, but that running game is good. They're going to have to figure it out. And Gallup has torn his ACL, so now they are down one less weapon. But it remains to be seen. I think that the Cowboys are loaded with CeeDee Lamb and Wilson and Cooper and all these guys. They're loaded at the wide receiver position. I don't expect them to go out and sign Antonio Brown whatsoever. But losing Gallup will hurt. But they've got to figure out that running game moving forward. All right, this is Goal On Live. I am Barry Long the second, not the first, not the third. I am the second. We are live on CoachellaValley.com, live on today'scalifornia.com, and live on today'scanada.com. We come to you Monday through Friday, every Monday through Friday at noon 30. And we are a sports show, and we're interactive. So if you got a comment, you want to say something, come on and say something. Rachel Eden says, hello, everyone. Hey, Rachel, how you doing? And Crystal Hunley says she loves the way I wear my hat. Well, I got a whole bunch of hats. I got a ton of hats, and they talk about my hats sometimes on Twitter, and I try to switch it up. I just try to stay fresh, but I'm really happy about my socks. Like this is the third time I've shown my socks. I'm just really happy about them. So shout out to my kids. All right, so let's talk about the 49ers and the Texans. The 49ers game. That was a game they were dominant. The 49ers looked really good from start to finish. They did not have Jimmy G. Jimmy Garoppolo has an issue with a ligament in his finger, and supposedly he is able to perform next week. Maybe he may be right for the playoffs, but they had to go with the rookie Trey Lance. And when we saw Trey Lance earlier in the season, he just looked like he did not have it whatsoever, and it was tough to watch. Trey Lance out there, just being thrown to the wolves. And a lot of people early on in the season, when they first saw him, his first couple of performances, thought, hey, man, this guy does not have it. And he never will. And you need to stick with Jimmy G. And I, for one, am still a believer in Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Jimmy Garoppolo should be the starter quarterback moving forward. The only thing that works against Jimmy G is his big-ass contract. That's a lot of money. So if Trey Lance can perform anywhere minutely close to what Jimmy G can bring to the table, then it's beneficial for the team, just in general, to move on from that big contract and take the cheaper quarterback. But Trey Lance started off this game looking like trash, like he has before. He's a rookie, so you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. But he looked like he just did not have it early on in this game. We didn't see the electricity from his runs. We didn't see the pop from the throws. We didn't see good decision making. It just looked in the first quarter like the moment was too big for him. And I will give him credit. He battled, and he ended up, making great plays. And we ended up seeing some of that electricity that he has, and some of the moves that he can make, and some of the decisions that he can make, and some of the drives that he can extend with his legs. Trey Lance, he did play pretty well, man. 16 of 23, 249 yards in the air. He did throw 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Good to see him get a great contribution from the running game, and Eli Mitchell, 119 yards. And he found a little connection with Brandon Ayuk. That might be his favorite target moving forward. And I like Ayuk a lot. But yeah, he connected with him 4 times for almost 100 yards. And he looked decent at the end of this game. So after watching that game, the 49ers game, and seeing, just the tale of two halves for Trey Lance, I like the way that he has, that grit, that grind, that I'm going to stick this out to the end. And I may not look good right now, but wait till next drive. And you ended up looking up at the game, and it's 23-7. And yes, this is the Houston Texans. And people will say, pump your brakes. It's just the Texans. Well, the Texans beat the brakes off of the Chargers last week. So this is the NFL. I mean, just because a team does not have a great record does not mean that they're still not full of NFL talent. So, Davis Mills on the other side, he didn't have one of his best games. He's been considered one of the most accurate quarterbacks this season, stat-wise. but he didn't look like Davis Mills of this season earlier on. He definitely did look like Davis Mills of last week. Rex Burkhead did not explode like he did last week for a career high. He only had 47 yards. They got Brandon Cooks back. Didn't really make a difference. The Texans season is over. They need to figure out what they're going to do moving forward at the quarterback position. Are you going to go with Davis Mills? Are you going to go to Tyrod Taylor? What are you going to do with the damn number one quarterback that you should have right now and Deshaun Watson? Are you trading him? Are you keeping him? Like, what's going to happen? So the 49ers, they are in the playoffs right now as it currently stands, and they are making some noise. And they've got a choice whether or not they're going to go with Jimmy G, who's a little bit injured, or they go with Trey Lance and they ride his hand. So that remains to be seen. We have a few more minutes left, and we will get to the rest of the games tomorrow. Apologize for that. We also have some college football playoffs that we're going to get to later on this weekend. We got the final set. It's going to be Georgia versus Alabama. A lot of people knew that was going to be the case anyway. Michigan really had no choice, no chance in that game, and neither did Cincinnati. So we'll talk about that. We'll break that down. We'll have VJ Vernon Husky on one day to break that down with us. All right, so we have time for one more game. We can talk about the Tennessee Titans and the Miami Dolphins. The Tennessee Titans, they looked damn good this past Sunday. I mean, they won the division. Ryan Tannehill, got off. They have a great running back in this young guy, Deontay Foreman. I really like Deontay Foreman a lot. And Dontrell Hillard gave him a little bit of a contribution as well. Deontay Foreman had 132 yards with a touchdown, and Hillard had eight carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. So they have a good change of pace back there. We thought when Derrick Henry went down that running game would just completely fall apart, and it has not. They've been able to sustain with Deontay Foreman. Now, Ryan Tannehill's got to figure out, who Ryan Tannehill is moving forward in the playoffs. And we've heard stories, or we've heard rumors that Derrick Henry is less than a week from returning. So if Derrick Henry comes back healthy, they still have Deontay Foreman. If anything, God forbid anything happened to Derrick Henry after he returns, they still have Deontay Foreman. They still have a great running game. Okay, they got to get Julio Jones back and 100% healthy. A.J. Brown proved that he can be out all week for practice. He can be out for weeks, with an injury and come back and have a dominant game. He and Tannehill seem to have pretty good chemistry as well. So I think that this is going to be one of the most dangerous teams in the playoffs is the Tennessee Titans. And I look for them to make a lot of noise, especially when they get Derrick Henry back, because nobody wants to face Derrick Henry. I believe somebody said that tackling Derrick Henry is like tackling a bowling ball with spikes. It's just like pain. Like there's pain coming your way. And it's a fast bowling ball at the end of the day. And it's the biggest one. It's not the children's bowling ball. It's the big one. So I really do like the Tennessee Titans moving forward. The Miami Dolphins, however, on their end, they had won 7 straight. They were riding high after starting the season 1-7, won 7 straight, went to 8-7, and they lost this game, pretty bad. They really didn't have it all night. I think Tua made 1 or 2 good throws, really good throws, out of his 18 completions. And to Waddle, at that, it was a beautiful ball, as a matter of fact. But yeah, so now with this loss, they are now eliminated mathematically from playoff contention. So we will not see the Miami Dolphins. It was a great story, and it would have been even greater if they had made the playoffs, but they did not make the playoffs. So sad story for all of the Miami Dolphins fans, but it is what it is. You guys had some great spurts, and I think that you may have found your quarterback of the future in Tua. I think that all the Miami Dolphins, going out and trading for Deshaun Watson rumors, I think that those should be put to bed. I think that this guy is the guy you need. I don't think Brian Flores should be fired as head coach. I think he's one of the best head coaches in this league right now. And I think that the Miami Dolphins have a lot to be optimistic for. So shout out to the Dolphins and all the Dolphins fans. We are live on CoachellaValley.com, live on today'sCalifornia.com, live on today'sCanada.com. Now let's look real quick at the AFC playoff picture. You got the Tennessee Titans at the top, the Chiefs right there. You can easily flip-flop. The Cincinnati Bengals, who I think are for real. They are really for real. And Joe Burrow playing the way he's playing, and Jamar Chase playing the way he's playing. this team could go all the way. Who knows? That defense is underrated as well, and the offensive line is holding up. So the Cincinnati Bengals are for real. Then you got the Bills. The Bills can come out and easily beat anybody on any given day. Josh Allen, who has been on the top of a lot of people's MVP conversation, is still one of the best. Then you got the Patriots, who are consistently consistent with what they do, and they do have a great defense. I like them. I like the Colts, and we'll see. The Chargers may get in. The Chargers may get out if they lose to the Raiders. So that will be interesting. And then on the NFC, all this AFC, NFC. Every time I say AFC, in my mind, I just think KFC. I don't know. I'm just weird like that. All right, but NFC, the Green Bay Packers are at the top of the list. They are the best team in football. The Rams, the Bucks, the Cowboys, the Cardinals. These are all really good contending teams. Then you got people like the 49ers and the Eagles who can make some noise and would love to play spoiler. Shout out to Miss Jameson, my elementary music school teacher. Talk to her all the time about sports. She's a diehard Eagles fan. They are in the playoffs right now. So we'll see if everything can stick. There's a chance that the Eagles may not make it. And on the AFC, there's a chance that a couple other teams can make it, like the Ravens and the Steelers. But right now, as it's constructed, they are not in. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in. And real quick, we'll give y'all the meme of the day. First of all, let's just look at this one picture of Antonio Brown again. That's just ridiculous. They should have known in college that this guy was going to be a problem. They should have known. All right, real quick, the meme of the day is pretty cool that in honor of Ben Roethlisberger, Baker Mayfield also decided this would be his final game at Heinz Field. And that's appropriate because Baker Mayfield played like trash yesterday, and he may not be the quarterback of the Browns for very much longer. And it remains to be seen. I think he deserves another year. Let the man have surgery on his torn labrum. See if he's got it when he comes back. But we'll find out. Linda Winslow, real quick, says she hopes the Rams get in. I do too, but I'm a little upset with the Rams right now. I'm mad at the Rams because the Rams beat my Ravens and pretty much not outside of playoff contention. So, but we are out here in California, and I think the Rams have a damn good team. I love all the pieces that they have added with Matt Stafford and Odell Beckham and Von Miller. I just love Sean McVay and his approach to the game and his approach to life. I think that the Rams it would be a great Super Bowl to have that team, really had the first Super Bowl in their building. It would be awesome. But we'll see. And we'll talk more football tomorrow. We'll be here Monday through Friday. My name is Barry Long II, not the first, not the third. You can find me on Twitter at Radio Barry Long or on IG at BarryLong_2 or on Facebook at Barry Long Space II, just like it is right there on the bottom of your screen. I'm just learning how to do that. All right. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. Stay focused, stay motivated, stay inspired, and remember, you're capable of doing anything, so go out and do it. Peace.